If you have been training for a while, then you know that not all exercises are created equal. And one of those more advanced exercises is the reverse Nordic, which is an insane testament to your strength as well as your flexibility. And it's way too overpowered for us to ignore it. So today we're gonna check out how you can learn to do the reverse Nordic curl without getting injured and with total ease. Now, lucky for you, there's only two factors keeping you from reverse Nordic curling, and that is both flexibility as well as strength, which now that I say it out loud are actually two really major things. And the flexibility we're talking about is the one in our anterior chain. Starting with our ankles, we need them in complete extension, meaning lengthened tibialis. Then moving up our quadriceps and our hip flexors, which we also need in complete extension. And then of course our abdominal flexibility, which for some people is going to be a real problem because usually we do not work on that. But if anything, I am a fan of peak efficiency exercises, and there's only one exercise we need to use to get the flexibility for all of these. And our starting position will be this one. Our legs are open, our ankles are already in extension, and part one is just being able to sit down here, which is gonna force our legs to extend our ankles even more. If you can get into this position, seated, relaxed, then you're already done with part one. If you can't, then elevating your butt and sitting down in your end range of motion, and over time increasing said range of motion by removing some of that elevation. It's gonna give you an easy progression to follow because all you need to do is just sit down comfortably. Now that we've taken care of level one, level two is just pushing forward, flexing our glutes and our spinal erectors to lengthen our hip flexors and our quads the slightest bit. If you are feeling a stretch here, then chances are you are insanely shortened in those muscles. If you don't, you can move on to the next level, hands on our heels and actively pushing forward once more. Now we're also opening up our chest and shoulders, which is an amazing bonus, but by flexing our posterior chain, starting at our hamstrings, moving up our back, we're actively relaxing our anterior chain through reciprocal inhibition, and that is going to help us push even deeper into a stretch. Once you're not getting anything from this level, you can start slowly moving down on your elbows. And what's very important here is you can't really let go of the tension in your posterior chain. You need to actively flex and push upwards so you get that active stretch going. Now, some of you will already feel an insane stretch here, but over time, you're gonna have to push up and up and up. A bonus here is that we're also strengthening our entire posterior chain, which is nothing to scoff at. Once you don't feel any more stretch here, it is time to slowly open up your arms, bring your back down to the ground, both shoulder blades in complete contact, and now once again we're actively pushing upward. Now we're lengthening every single muscle in our anterior chain, tibialis, quads, hip flexors, abdominals, and if we lengthen our arms upwards and start pushing up from here, we have a tiny bit of chest and anterior delt opening. Now this exercise should have taken care of the anterior chain flexibility, and now we can move on to the strength part. Now, when it comes to the strength aspect, there is one weak link we have to take care of first, and that will be the hip flexors, because most people work on their hip flexor flexibility, but do not work on their strength, and that is gonna be a problem. So we're gonna sit down in an extended position, both in our back and in our legs. If you cannot do that comfortably, then by all means, just lean back as much as you need to. And we're just gonna elevate our legs completely extended, flexing our quads and our hip flexors, and you might notice also our lower abdominal musculature, and we're gonna switch it up left side and right side. Over time, if you want to, you can add static holds at the top of your range of motion for a couple of seconds, reverse and repeat on the other side. Now, we don't even have to switch positions for the next exercise. We're gonna pull in our leg as closely as we can. We're not gonna touch the ground before we extend it once more. The same goes for the other side. Pull in as closely as you can. You might go a little bit into external rotation in your hips just so you can come closer with your foot before you reverse and do the same thing again on the other side. Now we have a little bit of a longer range of motion for our hip flexors, and over time this is going to help us also with our mobility work in general. And if you're someone who is really strong in their abdominals, you can go a level further into the L-sit, where you have to raise both legs. You can use elevations for your hands, or if you are really crazy, you can just work on your fingertips, elevate and hold for as long as you can. And this is gonna prime our hip flexors and our quads for the coming exercise. Now after that, we need to work on our lower abdominals, and all we need to do for this is just lay down. Just lay down, enjoy a short break, and bring your hands right there below your butt. We're gonna start with the easiest variation once more. Pull in your legs. We're adding hip flexor movement to our lower abdominal focus with this exercise. Extend your legs, raise your head for more inclusion of your upper abdominals, and pull in your legs completely extended. Now you can also pull in and extend from here, adding some upper body tension before slowly reversing the movement once more. And if you want to add real tension in your abs, you can come up here and go through a little bit shorter movements, but definitely a lot more intense, because you're going to require a lot more balance, core engagement, hip flexor and quad engagement to even get to this level of exercise. You might be thinking it can't be that easy. We only did a handful of exercises and we're already ready for the reverse Nordic curl. And I will say, yes, it is that easy. We're gonna start in our Nordic curl starting position. And from here, start with a short range of motion. Lean back as much as you think you are able to without falling backwards. And you're gonna notice you're gonna have to keep the tension up in your anterior chain as well as in your posterior chain, which for some people might take a little bit of time to get used to, but trust me, if you start with a short range of motion, just like so, and move forward once more, and over time you increase your range of motion in a controlled fashion, there should be no problem for you over time getting your head all the way down here and moving up once more. Now what's very important here is that while you're doing all the other exercises, you still get into this reverse Nordic curl position and you test it out. Test out your range of motion, test out your strength, test out how far you can go down before you lose your balance, and see which is the weakest link. That's very easy to find out, because the space where you feel the most pressure, the most pull, or the most required strength, that will probably be your weakest link and the place you need to work on. And I can guarantee you, for most people, that will either be the hip flexors or the quads, be it from a flexibility standpoint or a strength standpoint. And there you go. In just a handful of days, you will be a master of the reverse Nordic curl, and you will be able to bust it out at any time with any sort of training. With that said, sadly, that's all the time I've left for you today. If you like the video and subscribe, and check out other videos on this channel, because we literally have new ones every single day. And I will see you all tomorrow. Captain Cairo, peace out.